Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 4 of Quarter Life Questions. My name is Gino and this is Sam and Gino's channel. So today I'm just going to cover a few topics that I think are interesting that have come up during the week. If you've seen any of my previous episodes, this is the layout. I just kind of talk about some things that came up throughout the week or the last few weeks, and I piece them together in my head and I share them with you. And you guys have been relating a lot. I've been getting loads of messages, people relating. Been getting a few messages saying the flow is a bit funny. I'm going to get better at that, I promise. And yeah, let's see how we go. So the first thing I want to talk about is tackling problems head on and dealing with things straight away. So in my job and in many jobs, you've got problems to deal with. You've got customers that are unhappy, or you've got things going wrong that you need to sort. I find, and I'm still a culprit. I'm not following this rule, but I find if you have a problem, just deal with it right away, get it out of the way, or get it sorted, or get it started even. Because if you just leave that sit there, you're going to build that problem up in your head. It's going to get worse and worse. It's going to get harder and harder to sort. And eventually you're going to have it built up to this big, huge problem in your head that was only a very small problem in the beginning. So tackle problems head on. And this goes for everything. Money, okay? You're in severe, let's say you're in severe consumer debt. You got credit cards up to the nines. Start picking away. Don't wait. Don't be like, oh, I'll wait till this or wait till that. Start picking away at them. So it works in money. It works for saving. Okay, you've no savings. Let's say, well, let's say you're not in debt and you've no savings. You're just spending all your money. Start saving. Start saving €5 a week, €10 a week. Just start. Face the problem head on. Get it sorted. The longer you leave it, the worse it's going to get. Relationships. If there's something going wrong with your friends, with your work partner, with your business partner, with your boyfriend or girlfriend, whoever it is, your parents, deal with that problem head on. Say, look, I don't like this. This is annoying me. This isn't working for me. This is bothering me. I'm doing too much of this, you're not doing enough of that. Whatever it is, attack the problem head on, because if you just keep building it up, it's the cause of a lot of fallen relationships, a lot of fallen businesses, a lot of fallen problems, a lot of issues in life could have been solved a lot earlier and before they got worse by just tackling the problem head on. So one thing I've learned 25 years in life is just get the problem sorted, address it. In past relationships, you leave something go on too long and then it's years later and the same thing is bothering you since day one. You need to tackle these things straight away, because sometimes people don't know they're doing things wrong. Or to bring it back to work, like for example with me, cars break. It's just part of the job. If you don't tackle the fact that there's something wrong with the car and you leave it go on, all of a sudden then it's 2 months later, the customer is extremely pissed off because the problem wasn't fixed. It's been ages and you just never went and got it sorted. And sometimes it's something so simple and so small it just sounds worse, and you're building it up to be this big monster in your head. So my one bit of advice I'll always give people is just tackle the problems, find them, figure them out, tackle them and get them sorted. No matter what path of life it's in, money, relationships, work, anything, just get it done. Or even like small things, like even if you've like a problem in your house and there's like some sort of leak or something and you just leave it, you keep ignoring it, it just gets worse and worse. All of a sudden you have a flooded kitchen or a flooded bathroom. So whatever it is, there's never any reason to delay fixing a problem or getting it sorted out. And I think it's super important, and I think it's just something you need to get your head around, because it's quite an obstacle. And I see myself doing it, I catch myself doing it a lot. And it's usually only small things, but I find now I'm trying to be more conscious of it. Just get things out of the way and you'll get them off your head, and then you'll close that loop. Because once a loop opens, and I'm going to figure out what this is called and I'm going to talk about it another time, but there's something James Smith talked about in his latest book where you open the loop and you can't close it, and until you get it sorted it's just going to keep going round and round in your head. So that's one thing. Another thing I want to talk about, I've just been looking at like friend groups and my friends in particular, and I think I've got like a really strong friend group and I've got like a lot of great friends. And one thing you have to notice for people, you need to look out for your friends, and I think this affects girls more. And I don't know how much of a female audience we have, me and Sam, probably not a huge one, but I do just see it in girls more, that they've got like more fake friends and more dishonest friends and friends that are never that happy for them. And you need to watch out for that, because there's something really, really important is to have a friend who's genuinely happy for you. And there's small tell signs of this. So for example, if something good happens to you, they might act happy, but you need to find out if they're truly happy. And one thing I heard is if you tell someone something and they manage to, oh wow, that's great, you got a promotion. Yeah, I remember when I got a promotion, and they turn it back on themselves all the time, that's a tell sign of someone who doesn't actually give a shit about whatever you're telling them. So you need someone who's genuinely happy for you. They have to be happy for you if you're doing better than them. You don't want someone who's just happy for you once you're doing slightly worse than them. They're like, oh yeah, great, yeah, keep going. You want someone that's genuinely happy for you no matter what. And just some examples of this are promotions in work. For me, like let's say in jiu-jitsu, for example, and there's like belt promotions. If you don't know anything about it, there's like a white, blue, purple, brown, black. They're the belt promotions, and it's up to your coach as to when you get your promotion. So like if you're there and you're busting for your, let's go white to blue. That's one of the hard ones. What something like, let's say where I am, white belt now. So you're busting to get that blue belt, and you're working and working, and then someone else, some training partner or some friend of yours gets it and you don't. And then if or opposite around, if you get it and they don't, and then they don't seem actually happy for you, that's not a true friend. You need to try find them. And if you can find a friend who's genuinely happy for you, even if it means you're doing better than them, that's a really, really good friend, and someone you need to keep close. Someone who's not going to talk about you behind your back, someone who's not going to celebrate your losses, someone who'll celebrate your wins and be miserable in your losses with you. Support is really important. Having a good ecosystem of friends, it's like a tribe. And I think one thing girls lack is holding on to this. Not all girls obviously, but I've just seen it in past friends I have that are females, or relationships and stuff like that. Some girls just don't have a strong ecosystem of friends. I've got a huge group and we're all very close. There's, well, not huge, but like 8 to 10 of us or whatever. We're all very close. We all hang out with each other individually as well, you know what I mean? And these are things to look out for in friends. Because if you don't have friends that are genuinely happy for you and supportive of you, and they're not going to be happy when you're doing well, they're not real friends. And you need to, it comes to a stage where you need to start wiping them out and getting rid of them. And not, you're like just moving on from them, because there's no point having them as your close friends. There's no point going to someone with a win that you want to celebrate and then they're spiteful for it. And that's just something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and I think I'm quite lucky and quite blessed that in most walks of life I'm in, any of my friends that I have are quite supportive and are always happy to see me doing well, and I'm always happy to see them doing well. Something that came up as well, I was talking about 2 or 3 episodes ago. On the first episode, I spoke about the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that's kind of touching slightly on that again, and someone commented on it. Someone commented on the YouTube video saying, what if you don't spend time with anyone? And then someone else commented saying, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And I left a comment underneath that saying, okay, well, firstly, you need human connection, Joe. Obviously, look for it. You have to have it. You can't just isolate yourself from everyone. It won't work. You need other people to live. That's the way we've been made. But I told this person, okay, so what do you consume? Joe, you're here on YouTube, so you're consuming YouTube, you're watching my video. So what other videos are you watching? Who are you taking in? What influencers do you follow? What YouTube accounts are you subscribed to? What Twitter accounts do you follow? What books do you read? What are you putting into your brain? Because this is the exact same premise as you know, what people you're spending your time with. So if you're sitting there, you're watching really negative YouTube videos, you're listening to negative music, you're watching negative shows, whatever it is, you're more than likely going to be thinking negative, especially if you're not spending any time outside of that with other people. So you need to really clean up what information you're taking in. For example, I like to give myself a nice mix of what I take in media wise. So in the mornings I usually like to go for like more kind of business podcasts when I'm driving to work, or a business audible, or business YouTube videos. I have like YouTube Premium. I don't watch YouTube when I'm driving the car, but you can play it through, and I try to do them in the morning time. Usually is when my brain is freshest. And then music, usually when I'm on my way to the gym or on the way to training, is when I'll do music, and then in the gym. And then in the evening time I like kind of bit more lighthearted stuff, but it's still like nothing negative. Like, for example, one of my favorite YouTubers is Nico Leonard, or Leonard, however you pronounce it. But he's like this watch guy, lives up in Belfast, from the Netherlands. He's absolutely hilarious. He's got millions of subscribers. Definitely go check him out if you're anyway into just laughing, and you'd learn loads about watches as well while you're doing it. But you know, he's still like an extremely successful businessman, and that's the kind of stuff I'm taking in. Or like, I've got some books here in front of me. Just I haven't read all these books, but these are like the books I have at the moment. So The Molecule of More, that was just recommended to me by a guy I actually met, who thinks I've got so it's like how a single chemical in your brain drives love, sex, and creativity, and will determine the fate of the human race. So this is about dopamine. So I think this guy reckons I had a quite dopamine-driven brain. He recommended it. I haven't read it. Naval Ravikant, The Almanac of Naval. I've read this 2 or 3 times straight through, and now I just read bits of it. So like I just read random kind of pages here and there and mark them. Key person of influence. I'm just nearly finished this book. I'm a very slow reader. I don't read a lot. I just keep a lot of things on my bedside locker and I pick them up and go through them as I want. The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Again, you just read one of them a day. That's a really good book. If anyone wants to read that. And then Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. That's another book I've read once, and I'm thinking of reading it again because I kind of read through it too fast because I borrowed it the first time. I had it off someone. I wanted to get it back to them, so I bought my own copy. So I'm probably going to read it again. But yeah, so it's just about like what are you taking in? So if you're not spending time with people, or like even if you are spending time with people, this is obviously still extremely important. But just watch what you're taking in and watch what TikToks you're watching, watch what books you're reading, watch what videos you're watching, and make sure it's things that are going to progress you in some way, shape, or form. You can still have entertainment. I'm not saying not to be watching things for entertainment, but definitely keep an eye on what you're taking in, and that will help you along the way there. So that just covers them comments that I got on the first video, and I thought maybe there's a few people. Obviously, not everyone comments on YouTube videos, so maybe that will help some other people too. And then that kind of made me think. Then when I was reading them, I was like, everyone has like their guilty pleasure. So like me and my cousin, when we were growing up, we used to slag each other. So this when we were really young, when Justin Bieber was big. Like, I know he's obviously still huge, but when he first came out, and we used to slag each other like, if I catch you listen to Justin Bieber, we used to throw tinfoil at each other. And it turned out then, after a few months of this, we found out that we both actually just really like listening to Justin Bieber, and then it was kind of like both our guilty pleasures, and it was quite funny to notice that. And then I was thinking about guilty pleasures, and what kind of stuff like would I hate for people to know that I enjoy. And one thing I love, and I figure like I'm trying to have a very honest conversation every week with you guys, so I figured it was kind of put myself in the awkward position to explain one of my guilty pleasures. So one of them, and I wrote it down just in case I forgot because I didn't want to leave myself away with it, but I love the really, really kind of cringy TikTok videos, and I was trying to find out what they're called. I found one term, hopecore. I don't know if that's what it is, but anyway, basically it's just a load of videos that like probably some teenager edits of like Jocko Willick, Jordan Peterson, Kevin Hart, Joey Diaz, Joe Rogan, all these kind of your typical male, whatever you call them, I don't know. But anyway, these motivational videos, like who's gonna carry the logs and all that kind of stuff, and I just love them. I don't know, I could watch them all day. They're like pure flashy edits of just random clips of David Goggins and Joey Diaz and all these people. And if you're not familiar with them, you're bound to find them on TikTok. Like if you just type in hopecore, maybe, I don't know if they'll come up, or type in just Jocko or David Goggins or whatever you want, but I love them. I don't know what it is. I'm like nearly 26 years old, like, and these are literally being made by children, and I'm just like, yeah, let's go, let's get it. So that's just, I was thinking like that's hilarious to me, and I wanted to catch myself. I was like, I have to tell whoever watches this about this, because I was like, I'm leaving myself away with it. So if you have any guilty pleasures, leave a comment down below, let me know. Or if you watch them videos too, let me know. If you don't want to leave a comment, you drop us a message or whatever. But I'd love to hear some more guilty pleasures, because everyone has them. Another one that I have is listening to Taylor Swift in the car, and I hate Taylor Swift as a person. Well, I don't know her as a person, but I don't like kind of her gig or whatever, but she's just got a couple of songs like Love Story and stuff like this. I just blast them in the car. Like, there's another guilty pleasure. I don't know, I'm kind of putting myself in too deep anyway now, but cringy TikTok videos, Joey Diaz, David Goggins, all that kind of stuff, hilarious. And then one other thing I wanted to talk about is wasting time with things and sticking to them just because you think it's the right thing to do. And this is something I've never been guilty of myself, and sometimes I've regretted quitting and sometimes I haven't. So, for example, you're in a college degree because your parents want you to do it. If you're unhappy, if you hate it and you don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't spend your whole life studying to be, I don't know, like a marine biologist if you hate the water, Like, I don't know, or an accountant if you hate numbers. Like, just, there's no point in pushing yourself through years and years of college to go on then to work for the next 30, 40, 50 years of your life doing something you hate just because your parents think it's a good move for you to do. I'm not saying be a waster, don't drop out of college and do nothing, but there's no point committing to something for too long if it's not working out. And I was nearly a year ago, I was in Italy, and I was getting a bus from Naples back to back to the area I was staying in, and it was about an hour long bus, and I listened to a podcast on Logan Paul's podcast, and he had Kevin O'Leary on. If you don't know who Kevin O'Leary is, Google him. Entrepreneur guy. He was on Shark Tank. He's okay. He's a little bit kind of maybe American for me, but he does a good point. But he said something, and he spoke about if a business isn't making you money after 3 years, take it out the back of the shed and shoot it. People will pump a dead horse when it comes to business, especially if it's not working. Stop wasting your time. And I'm not saying like it has to be really not working. If it's something like, there's loads of businesses out there that aren't profitable straight away, but you can see that the revenue's coming in. But if you've no revenue coming in, the profitability is terrible. Your margins are shite, and no one likes your product. Whatever it is, give up, quit, move on to something else. Don't waste all your energy on something that isn't working, and it's extremely important. And this comes in for other things, jobs. Now I'm getting attacked for the way I talk about jobs to people. On TikTok, or some guy got annoyed at me over something I said about jobs in one of my previous videos, and he was like, "Oh, it must be great for you being able to move jobs all the time." And I was like, "It's not what I'm talking about. It's just like, if you're not happy with your job, do something about it. You can't just waste your time all the time doing things you hate." And so I give an example. College is one example. Work is another. Now sometimes people just have to work. Do you know what I mean? You've got responsibilities. Don't drop your responsibilities, but go actively look for something. Like if you're in a job that pays you €12 an hour and you hate it, but there's another job down the road that pays you €12 an hour that you like, just go change, move it, do something about your situation. Don't waste time doing something because you think it's the right thing to do. Unless you know it's the right thing to do, you're wasting your time. So, college degrees, jobs, relationships, like you see this all the time, people in relationships, and they're just not happy. They're so unhappy with each other. It usually ends up in cheating or something like that. Get out of it. Don't waste your time. You don't have enough time on this earth to waste your time. Absolutely, pissing around with someone that you don't even get on with. You can't even sit in a room with each other without killing each other. You can't go on holidays. You can't enjoy anything. You don't enjoy the same things. You're constantly onto each other when you're not with each other, giving out. Who are you with? What are you doing? Just stop it. Just give over. Life is too short. And so that's just one other topic I wanted to touch on, was just stop wasting time with things that aren't working. Try things. I'm not saying try everything. Give everything a go and give it all a fair go. But if you're beating a dead horse, just stop. It's I've done it long enough in loads of different areas of my life over the years, and you'll always regret it. You'll always think, geez, all that wasted time. And when you find the right thing, when you find the right job, the right person, the right business, the right idea, you're like, fucking yes, here we go. I could have been doing this the whole time. I had this idea then, I knew this person then, whatever it was. I could have been doing this the whole time, and I could have got all that time back. Don't focus on wasted time, but don't focus back on wasted time. There's no point dwelling on it, but try your best to just cut it out. Forget about it. Stop wasting your time with things that aren't working for you. Now, if you drop out of college and your life goes to shit, don't blame me. I have no, I didn't go to college. I dropped out, but like it was the right move for me. And I'm just saying, if you're unhappy, don't do it. And I was actually talking to a young guy today, at jiu-jitsu, and he was saying he kind of wanted to be a carpenter, do like a carpenter apprenticeship or whatever, and then he went and did work experience, and it turns out he didn't really like it, and he still liked working with wood, and he's going into like this kind of furniture designer. I can't remember exactly what he said, but some sort of furniture design kind of thing, similar to the people who design, it's like a degree to be like the person who designs furniture for IKEA in the most simplest form. I clearly wasn't listening well enough, and I'm very sorry if you see this, but anyway, but it's just like, he's only 17, and what a smart kid. He's like, okay, I want to do this, let's try it. I don't really like it, still like the idea, didn't like that side of the work, what else can I do? And goes and finds a college course up in Mayo, or wherever he said it, Mayo I think, that he can do to do what he wants to do, and that's great. And he's only 17. We have a lot to learn from, we can learn a lot from kids today. They're so much smarter than we ever were. All these fucking teenagers and stuff, money wise, I said it already, money wise, and just life in general, they have a lot. It's probably unfortunate for them, they're growing up quicker than we did, but we can learn a lot from looking back at them, because they know a lot about what's going on. But anyway, that's it. Slightly longer episode today because I went on a rant, but yeah, that's the gist of it. So deal with your problems when they come. Don't waste your time. Keep an eye on your friends, watch your tribe, keep an eye on who's close to you, and see who's actually genuinely happy for you and who isn't. What are your guilty pleasures? Let me know. If you're into them cringy TikToks, let me know, because I have to say they're absolutely excellent. And yeah, that's it. Like and subscribe. And really appreciate the support so far. Our subscribers have been growing nicely now over the last few weeks, and me and Sam really appreciate the support. Sam's heading off to Japan now next week, so he has a couple of videos left to post of Greece. Then we're going to start getting some Japan content, which I'm really looking forward to. He's been having troubles with his internet in Greece, so he's been struggling to get the uploads up as often as he'd like, but the videos are there, and they'll be up soon. So guys, thank you all so much. Really appreciate the support. Please leave some comments down below. Contact me. I'd love some questions to answer. Contact us on Instagram to say, I'd love to, if you wanted me to talk about something, if you want to challenge me on something, anything like that, just shoot me a message. I'd love some topics to talk about that I know you guys want to listen to. And yeah, that's it. Thank you all so much. Stay safe, and yeah, see you soon.